make it to the final, the girls will get $5,500 each. The blokes will get $69,000 each.
Each?
How can anyone justify this, Ita?
They can't.
No.
I mean, the gender... I beg your pardon?
I can justify it.
How?
Why?
Well, I tell you what, stars don't get paid more money because, a sport doesn't become interesting because the stars are paid more money. Stars get paid more money because the sport is interesting. Let me ask you this. How many of you guys on the panel know who our Australian Matildas are playing in the quarterfinals?
Don't.
No, because you don't care about it. Now, if you cared about
I
it...
do if they win.
No, but that's the thing.
They beat Brazil.
Do you know what? All of you can go and watch
She just collapsed her entire argument. She said, I do if they win.
Yeah.
You collapsed your entire argument. The guy didn't even have to open his mouth. They sat there so smug, like nobody could defend this. Nobody could justify this. Well, it's the easiest thing to justify. We know why men are paid more in sports than women. The women that are here complaining about it know why. They just don't want to say it. They're not interested in their own gender's divisions. They don't know who is playing who. What they do is they see headlines, oh, they beat Brazil. Okay. You're not watching though. That's why your counterparts on the female athletes are not paid as much.
When things generate more money, they're able to pay out more money because it's making more money. If the women's one is not generating that much money because not many people are watching it, how are they going to afford to pay the women more money?
Did you know that the WNBA only survives because of the men's NBA?
Really?
Yeah, apparently the NBA generates so much money and the WNBA generates such little money that the NBA pays the female athletes.
Wow.
It pays I don't know exactly what they call it, but the viewership is so low that it's not possible for them to make the same amount of money as the male counterparts. It's just not possible.
And if you think of sport in general, in the male ways like boxing matches, basketball, football, golf, tennis could be a bit more like equal with female, but the rest it is all male dominated. But look how popular every single one is. Every time there's a boxing match on, everyone's there wanting to get plans to go and watch the boxing fight. It's not really the same for women. When there's football on, World Cup, anything, that's a worldwide thing where it's men and everyone gets together and pretty much the whole country watches it. Basketball is like one of the biggest sports, mainly in America, but do you know what I'm saying? They are so popular and it is done by men that it's inevitable. Do you know what I mean?
Like I said before, if more women were watching their own gender play, then the female athletes will be paid more. So all you got to do is stop whatever else you're doing and tune into something that you clearly don't care about because you have a lot to say about it and watch it. Yeah. And it's problem solved. Buy their merchandise, tune into whatever channel they're playing on, and the girls will get paid more. But don't put that shit on men. I mean, why the hell would I want to watch? I don't even watch basketball to begin with. I'm not going to tune into a female basketball match. If I'm going to watch a basketball match, it's going to be a men's one. The last one I watched was when I think they're called the 76ers were playing, back when I think his name was Allen Iverson. This was ages ago, and my boys used to watch it, so I watched it for the sake of it. I'm not watching a female football match either. I don't watch football to begin with. The only time I would ever tune in is during the World Cup. The only time you will catch me up at 4 a.m. waiting for a main event is in the UFC. Because the women in the UFC are genuinely entertaining to watch. They've put on some of the best matches I've ever seen. And the UFC is a prime example. Ronda Rousey was so popular in the UFC, she became the highest paid athlete. She was the highest paid athlete because she was putting the most asses in seats. The most people were tuning in to watch her. She became a global superstar. If you're not a global superstar, you ain't going to make that money. And more often than not, it tends to be the men. More often than not, you'll hear like John Jones, you'll hear Daniel Cormier, you'll hear Conor McGregor, Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman. These are all men that have fought in the UFC who have become global superstars because of their craft. Yeah. And even in a sport where I really enjoy watching the women compete, there's still way more men that I prefer watching fight.
League games in the women's competition here, but you don't. Now, when you start to go and watch these women play the wonderful football they do, then they'll earn more money.
But I don't go to watch the men play football either.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people do, Ita. The Men's World Cup is one of the biggest money spinners on the planet. Women's football, even though at grassroots level it's working really, really well, it's got a long way to go. The other thing, let me ask you this about sports equality. The top 10 fastest men of all time in terms of sprinters are all black, of African origin. Are you telling me that the white guys should say, hold on, we should be paid just as much as the black guys for sprinting? No, because they're not as fast.
No, whoever wins gets the most.
Yeah, well, that's it. Do you know what? There is not one team in the Women's World Cup that could beat a junior male side in the A-League.
So what?
So they're not as good.
Well, they're playing women.
Nonsense.
What?
Maybe verse them.
But why? But to me, it comes down to simply a matter of...
She said they're playing lemons. This woman didn't even know what she was talking about. That
No,
guy.
I think she said they're playing women. I think that was just the thing.
Oh,
The accent, yeah.
Oh, okay, the accent got it.
Yeah.
Okay, even so, yeah, they're playing other women, but the level's not there. That's why people tune into the men's one, because the level is there. People want to see that. Of course they're going to get paid more. And his point on the black sprinters is perfect. That is a perfect point. Of course she's not going to argue against that. Does anybody here think that the guys that finished 5th, 6th and 7th that are all white should get paid as much as the guys in 1, 2 and 3 because they're black? They're not getting paid more because they're black. They're getting paid more because they're faster. If it was all white guys dominating the 100-meter sprint, then they're going to get paid more. It's not going to be a race issue. Just in that particular sprint, black people weren't as fast. It just turns out that black people tend to be the fastest runners on the planet. So of course it should. Do you think Anthony Joshua should get paid less than insert any random name? Of course they're not going to get paid as much. By that same token, Anthony Joshua is not going to get paid as much as Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is the heavyweight champion. It's got nothing to do with race. One performs better than the other. Tyson Fury's here. Anthony Joshua might be here. And then the rest of the division's down here. So of course they're going to get more. They're going to generate more asses in seats. And they're going to generate more viewers at home.
Inequity. It's not... I mean, women are not paid the same amount of money as blokes in so many professions. And I think we need to pay women more in sport, in all sorts of different jobs.
Well, regardless of whether the product's as good.
But they are top of their game, so why aren't they paid
Because
top dollar for being top of their game?
They're not top of the mindset.
Let's talk about tennis. OK, tennis, the pay discrepancy in world tennis is not as great as other sports. So at Wimbledon...
But only recently.
Yeah, that's right. But the reason being is because the product that the female tennis players are offering is good. Because in male tennis, it's serve, volley, ace, double fault. Whereas women's tennis is more about rallies. It's better to watch. And that's why it's paid more.
Hit the nail on the head or whatever it is. If you think about it, these sports as well, they generate money in different ways. They're generating money from people in betting shops, betting money on it. They're generating money from people buying tickets to go and watch things live. They're generating money from the viewership online, on TV. So there's a lot more money coming in. I really don't get how they're expecting the women to get paid more when there's not more being put into it.
Yeah, they didn't even understand what they were saying.
Nah.
And the one that was talking at the end there, I could tell that she knew that her point was falling apart. It's better to just be like, do you know what? I haven't really made a good point here. I should probably just let it go. But instead of just doing that, they doubled down. They made themselves look more silly. That guy wasn't rude to them at all. He made perfectly sane points.
Clear points.
Things that can be researched and fact-checked. We all know why men are paid more. And anyone that pretends like they don't know, or anyone that thinks it's because it's simply because they are men, are just lying to themselves, and they're lying to the people that are willing to listen to them.
They're denying reality.
Yeah, which has become a common theme in today's society. It's tiring to have conversations with people when this can easily be looked up. They can look it up themselves. They just repeat these buzzwords and these talking points from other feminists who don't know what they're talking about, and then regurgitate it on live TV. And then it takes somebody to make such simple points for them to sort of sit there, especially the old lady. She was sitting there like she knew it all. No one could refute this.
It was just very ignorant.
Yeah, because they're paid $5,000. Yeah, that's what they're worth. That is what they're worth. And Ronda Rousey's paid millions because that's what she's worth. I don't know what you're expecting.
Yeah,
why don't you tune in to the women's football matches? Why don't you tune in to the WNBA? All the feminists in America and the UK or wherever else in the West, all tune in to support it, but you won't. You will tune in to watch the men play because it's more exciting to watch the men play. Now, in an instance where it's more exciting to watch the women play, guess what? The female tennis players get paid more. So that disproves everything that you're saying.